Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Land Stories Live. I am your host, Dave Deniston of Generation Family Properties, LLC, a podcast dedicated to helping hundreds of people like you learn and own land. And we would love to tell your land story. Well, I have the honor today of having Kristy back with me today. Not only that, but we are going to be talking about the state of the land market. Here are some questions we're going to be talking about today. How hot or how cold is this land market today? We're going to be talking about where can you get the most bang for your buck? We're going to be talking about how are other buyers and sellers reacting in this market today. And of course, you're going to get our perspective on all of this and some great education. And of course, we're have a featured property. We got to talk about a featured property. And today we're going to talk about a property in Yavapai, beautiful, cool Yavapai County, Arizona. Kristy, you're here with me. What's up?
How are you? It's been a while.
I know. Been a while since we've done this together. What's new with you?
No, not much. Just doing my thing. No complaints.
Working hard. I know.
Always,
Quarantined.
always hard.
Quarantined inside.
Yeah, like the rest of us.
What are you doing for fun in this time period? Are you watching any shows or going for walks or
Yeah, I mean, my dogs are loving life because they're never alone. So they think it's fantastic. They love COVID. They hope it never goes away. Yeah, they get to go on lots of walks. Ugh, I'm not a big TV watcher, huh? I have watched some shows for sure. Like I've done a couple Netflix things here and there, but yeah, I'm not a big TV watcher. So
there's there's some
read
new
news articles and stuff like that.
there's some new show that's on my to watch list that's called Yellowstone, and it's about it has Kevin Costner in it, and I'm not sure where it's available through, but apparently it's all about land actually, and drama over land, and Kevin Costner's in it. It's like guy with Dances with Wolves. You can't go wrong with wide open
Eh,
spaces and Kevin Costner.
No, my fitness instructor has been watching it. She talks about it all the time. And I keep saying, I'm going to watch it. And then I go home and immediately forget all about it. But now you've said it too, so I might have to.
We've actually been rewatching. My oldest daughter and I have been watching Lost. So, did you ever watch Lost at all?
I
That
watched it
show?
a little bit and then I'm so bad. I lose interest. I tried Game of Thrones. I lost interest. Like I'm that person, that watches a few seasons and then my brain just goes and I don't finish them. I'm so bad.
You just need
I've
some
finished a few
horses.
series, but not many.
The horses will keep you busy. The horses and the dogs.
Yes, exactly.
Very good. Very good. Well, so Kristy, I teased a little bit. We're talking about land, and we're talking about what is happening in the market today. And I was inspired to do this podcast just because things have changed so much over the last year, and I want to just give a little bit of education for everybody to think about. There's a one of our partners that we advertise properties on is called the Land Flip, and
Mhm.
Land Flip has a blog area of a website called Land Think. So if you go to landthink.com, you can check out some of their articles. They do some polls, and what what I found was interesting was a few things on their website. So one of the headlines here: land buyers are opting for smaller tracts this year. And they did a poll, which I guess was quite a few people, and they said 33.1% of their audience were looking to buy land in the next year, and if they did, it would be less than 20 acres. So 33% less than 20 acres. And I know this year, for the first time, we've had quite a few 40-acre properties available. In their pool, so 33% wanted less than 20, 22% 20 to 50 acres, 15%, 50 to 100. And we've never had anything over 50 acres at this point. I wonder what is your reaction, to that, just looking at those numbers, 50% essentially wanting 40 acres or less. What do you think of when you hear that?
Yeah, I would say that's definitely true because our biggest selling properties are those acres in Castillo, which are 5 acres. I think people want farmettes, ranchettes, where they can have a few animals, a little escape place, but they don't necessarily want a second job of having a full farm. It's a lot of work for all that, depending on where you get it. And of course, sometimes you can just leave it. But yeah, I think people just want to go up and have a little tract of land that they can do what they want with. But they don't want a headache of having a lot of property or a big payment, because the smaller properties are so affordable.
They are. When you and I were talking pre-show, that it was fascinating. We had these 40-acre properties in Yavapai County, Colorado. Now, truth be told, those aren't necessarily the easiest properties to get to because there's not like a road bladed in on some of those. They have legal access, but not perhaps physical access. And it still shocks me, though, that we would have a 10-acre property in Costilla County that does have access. So there's a little bit of a difference there. And we might sell that for $8,000 or $9,000 or something like that. But then these 40-acre ones, I honestly couldn't sell it for $30,000. We had to lower the price, which originally that's what I was selling it for, which per acre, right? If we're looking at it, we were talking about $800 to $900 an acre for the 10-acre properties versus what we were trying to sell the 40-acre properties for, which was like $700 an acre or so. And so it was less per acre, but people weren't buying them. We actually had to lower the price to get it down to about $20,000. And then they started selling, or even a little less. And so that really fascinated me, that now people are paying like $40 or $400 an acre, like a fraction of the tens. And so it seems like people are paying a premium for those smaller properties in order to do it. What do you think? Am I crazy here? What's your thoughts on what you've seen?
Well, it is interesting because it's exactly what we were talking about before the show. I said, I just remember last year you chat with people and we had all the 5-acre tracts quite often in Southern Colorado, and maybe a 10 here and there, and they would always go. So many people would say, oh, I really want bigger. Do you have anything 20 or 30 or 40? And I think that's probably what pushed you to get the bigger tracts.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we both assumed they'd go really quickly. But yeah, then people were like, nah, it's too big. And it's like, yeah, the trends definitely kind of shifted this year, which was interesting, for sure.
Well, and this year, it seems like we've seen this huge surge in demand, which LandFlip says for them that since January, their overall network traffic has doubled. Page views have doubled. Buyer leads have tripled. New buyer profiles have increased 400% for their website. I mean, doubling of everything in terms of land. You've been with me since, what was it, March of last year? Something like that, February of last year. So yeah. you saw a full year before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And now with the pandemic, how would you characterize kind of the differences to before and after?
I'd say 3 times the sales. I mean, you would know the full numbers, but I would say 3 times. And I would also say that the quality of people coming in the leads is higher because it's, again, there's more responses, there's more people that are ready to buy immediately, not just saying, oh, I'm looking now, I'm looking maybe in 6 months or something. They just want to ask some questions. People are now like, what's the next step? I'm ready.
Yeah.
There's like fire in them that was definitely not there, a year ago.
And what would you think the reason is? I mean, obviously there's the coronavirus and some of that going on, what would you attribute it to?
Yeah, I guess. And people just, I think, want to get out of the cities, or they want to have something, maybe the stock market even scared them a bit. There's always that fear that it was doing so well, maybe it's not going to continue to do well, or it did so well, but then they want to diversify. and they wanted to do property. But then of course, I do think COVID was a huge catalyst for it, because yeah, like February, March is when it really picked up, and then April just went nuts. So yeah, and maybe with all of the, you see on the news that there's all the stuff going on in the cities, and maybe people are like, I would need a place to go just in case this happens in my city. It's a good backup plan.
Well, and I would say that not only have we had more sales, but prices have been pushed up now. The 5-acre properties you were talking about, we were selling for $3,000 at one point, and now we're up to probably 4,500 to 5,000 for that same property. And so property taxes are increasing some. I had to send notices out to a lot of people saying, oh, I'm sorry, property taxes are going up. The good news is you're making money on your land if you sold it today. So it's, I'm seeing that price thing. And then on my end, as I'm going to buy properties, that price is going up too. So, we have on our end, when I go and buy stuff, it's costing me more money, which often, before, I'd say a year ago, often I would have like $249 down as the document fee was the down payment. And then I would have under $100 a month for that same property. I can't afford to do that now on my end, because it would take me forever to recoup my money, and the person would be paying for 10 years plus, on the current price. And so I had to push up the down payment, and I had to push up the monthly payment required just to do it. The other thing from my end too, that has been interesting, that we've dealt with a lot between all of us that are selling properties, is someone wants a property and then it's gone like the next day, and then people are upset. Can you talk about maybe a couple of times that's happened to us?
I can talk more about more than a couple. But okay, the most recent one that like just sticks out was, and you probably remember this, it was a man that went to look at a property in Park County.
Yeah.
And I think he was going up on a Thursday. So, chatted with him that morning, and I was like, okay, great, drive safe. Let me know what you think. And I did tell him, I was like, let me know if you want it, even if you just want to shoot me a text and say, I want it, and I'll mark it pending, get that contract going. Sure enough, somebody else bought it that evening. So I messaged him that morning and I said, hey, just wanted to see how you liked it, but unfortunately it sold. And he was like, oh my gosh, I can't. He's like, we just got home so late, I thought it was too late to text you and tell you we wanted it. So he missed it. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. But well, I mean, I did warn it, because I just specifically remember that we talked Monday and he wasn't going till Thursday. And I, told him about you can put the money down and we have the 90-day back, and you're only potentially going to lose a document fee. So if you really think you want it, because he thought he did based on the pictures, I said 4 days is a long time to wait. And it sounds crazy because people think 4 days, what's going to happen in 4 days? Like probably 7 people lined up. That's what's going to happen in 4 days.
Well, I would say a year ago, 4 days wasn't a big deal.
No, you'd be like, yeah, call me next week. I'm sure it'll be fine. And now it's like, you don't wait 20 minutes, because like you could legitimately be also talking to somebody at the same time.
Well, it's, between yourself, myself, and Summer, we're all talking to different people, and there's no way we can let each of us know, hey, I have this person interested in this property. And I mean, we would be talking all day if that was the case with each person. So we always had we set a new policy of, hey, if you're serious, send us the info for the contract or make the down payment and we'll hold it for you for a couple of days. So we made that as a change in policy, which has seemed to help. I don't know. What do you think? Has that helped us?
Definitely, because now it gives so I maybe wouldn't know, as an example, if you were about to do a contract. So then I might also be talking with somebody and being like, well, I'm going to do a contract. And then Summer might be talking to somebody that then goes and clicks pay now. And we're all sitting there going, wait, whose person was it? Who actually checked out? It got chaotic for a bit. So yeah, the new thing of saying, look, give us the information. We'll mark it pending for 24 hours and we'll get our ducks in a row and give you time to do the down payment, and nobody else can take it for that 24 hours. And I think it lets people know that there's also a time frame. It doesn't turn into you can do the down payment next week, because somebody else will do it before that for sure.
Absolutely. Well, we
Yeah,
know that there's different cycles, right? With everything. Just like
of
you
course.
you talked about the stock market. The stock market goes on a cycle. It goes up, and I always say things go higher than I think that they do.
Mhm.
So it's like things tend to last longer than you think, and then things change and
Yeah,
prices go down. But the problem is we don't know when that is, right? We don't know when that inflection point is, and what's the top, and what's the bottom. I think I'd be curious, can you make a case one way or the other? Like from your perspective, is this the top of the land market right now? Could this keep continuing? Could we are we in the middle of that? What do you think if you were just to make a
my
guess?
personal opinion, which is fairly uneducated and just I'm going on my gut, I feel like we're kind of in the middle because I thought it was gonna slow down actually. I thought those first couple months was like almost like a knee-jerk reaction to people being like, what, I gotta get out of the stock market, or I've got to do this, or I finally want to buy land. But so far it's really not slowed down much at all, if at all, actually. And I think this is gonna stick with people. I think had this been a short-term thing, and then let's, as an example, let's say it's because of COVID. I think if COVID had come and gone within 2 months, I think this might have also, but because it's lasting so long, and now they talk about, oh, maybe there's gonna be a second wave, maybe not, nobody knows. But because of that uncertainty, I think that's gonna make the land trend continue. And people are just going, oof, I really don't know what's going on. I wanna have a backup.
Yeah. I think you're right in general. I would say there's probably certain pockets that are more expensive than others too. Like I look at Costilla County as an example. There's a lot of land investors out there, and certainly not just us that sell property out there. And
Sure.
as a land investor myself, we send out thousands of letters a month to try and acquire properties. And I've seen prices, I used to pay $700 or $800 for properties out there that now I'd have to pay three times that
Hmm.
to buy it, three times that to buy the same thing.
Yeah,
And
gee.
um, that's pushing up prices on the selling end. So it's almost increased so much that to me, it's not sustainable
Yeah.
over 2 or 3 years. Now, in the next 6 months, it could very well keep climbing, I
Mhm.
think. Um, Meanwhile, other areas, I'd say a Park County, it didn't, it hasn't increased as much, in terms of like on the buying side. I'm paying a little bit more than I did before, but not like crazy amounts more. So I feel like it's kind of dependent on the area a little bit from my perspective. Um, and I would say the other thing that I was concerned about, and still am concerned about to a degree, is we have a lot of people that pay us monthly, and so that's dependent on the economy and how things are going, and I keep on waiting for that shoe to drop of people losing their jobs and not being able to afford the monthly payments anymore, because you got to feed your family, right? I mean, you have a choice. You,
Of
you have one
course.
one or the
Priorities.
other. Which then on our end, hey, if we get a slew of those, well, now we have all this inventory, right? We got to move. But our
Mhm.
inventory just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I had something like 60 properties at the beginning of the year, and we've bought a whole bunch during the year, and now we're down to like 10. We're
Yeah.
down to 10,
Yeah.
despite buying like 100 plus properties during the year. And
Yeah.
so even if we did have a bunch of people, 20 people, I'm still not back to what I was a year ago.
Yeah.
So I think, all right, everyone. Well, I got interrupted. I had a technical difficulty. So Kristy is not going to be on with me for the rest of the podcast. I got cut off. Bad, bad internet. Bad internet. Anyhow, I'm back. I want to do a featured property of the day for us today. So before I do that, I guess I'll just wrap up my prior comments about the land market. So right now, the land market is super hot. I would say the bottom of the cycle from everyone I talked to was probably like September 2010. And what was interesting is I've looked back at past sales and past data, being the numbers nerd that I am, that the properties at that time were just selling for cents on the dollar because of the financial crisis. And I've seen properties that even today are selling still for below what they were selling for in 2007 and 2006. So I haven't seen yet the land market get back to the height that it was 13, 14 years ago. So to Kristy's comment, we could very well be still in the middle of this cycle and not at the top of it. Who knows how long this will continue? Certainly the coronavirus is directly impacting, in my opinion, the prices of land, and things could very well even double in a lot of cases from here, because this winter and into the spring and summer, if a vaccine isn't found yet, we could very well see things do better and better, which makes it harder for me in buying land and difficult for folks on the on as we sell it to them. So I hope you appreciated that little update that we did. Make sure to check out the earlier part of the podcast or the prior video if you're watching this on Facebook Live right now. So let me share with you my screen. This is our featured property today. It is in Yavapai County, Arizona, in a place near a place called Seligman. So let me show you on the map where this particular property is. So you can see here directly around the property, there's lots of trees. You know, I think of Arizona, and my impression of it before investing in the land was desert. I thought of the Grand Canyon, thought of the arid, deserty stuff, you know, Las Vegas type temperatures, Phoenix type temperatures, not the wonderful treed properties that we see out here. Here's the pin of the property. You can see it's not too far away from Interstate 40. So it's a little bit north of Interstate 40. Interstate 40 goes right through Seligman, as well as Highway 66 over here. If you look, as I go further on the map, so there's our property, there's Seligman. You can see Prescott, Arizona is down to the south, almost directly south of Seligman. The Grand Canyon is directly north. You can see on the map I'm looking at here, the Grand Canyon winding through, which of course Grand Canyon's so huge. The North Rim is pretty far away from the property, but the Grand Canyon itself, really, if you just went as the bird flies, you know, that's see what it says here, about 40 miles away. So the Grand Canyon is 40 miles away from the property. If we go a little further out beyond Prescott, we got Flagstaff. So if you take Interstate 40, Interstate 40 goes out from California, Barstow area, all the way out to Flagstaff and beyond into New Mexico. So this is the same freeway that takes you out to Flagstaff. A little further south of Prescott, of course, you got Phoenix. So Phoenix isn't too crazy far away here. Let's do another measurement. So as the crow flies, you're talking about 128 miles, you know, just a few hours, couple of hours to get out here. So you're close to Phoenix. Vegas, of course, isn't crazy far away either. You can see that is off to the northwest of the property. Let me clear that measurement. We can see how far Vegas is away, again, as the crow flies. Vegas is also about 120 miles away. So if you just think about Phoenix and Vegas, this is about equidistant between the two. And of course, as you see here, this is a forested part of of Arizona. These aren't tall pine trees. These are more pinyons and those sorts of shorter trees, but lots and lots of green. What I like about this area in buying land here is that it's not crazy hot. So if someone is in Phoenix, they want to get to a higher elevation, this is a great place to go to cool down. So if we do the terrain here, see, scroll out a little bit on Google Maps. You can see you're up about 5,600 feet on this property. So you are nowhere close near sea level. Obviously a lot cooler than Phoenix is. And you can see the temperatures here. I like using Bing. If you ever use Bing, you can type in average temperature in a city. And you can see this particular one here in the summer, a height of 90 degrees, record temperature of 103. So that's the record, right? Which, like, for Phoenix, that's a normal July day. So 91 degrees is the high. You can imagine average is probably around 80, which is perfect for the summer for someone that wants to get away. For someone that's maybe a snowbird wanting to escape, it's really pretty moderate. You do get 60-degree days in November and 50-degree days in January, February, and even December. But you do get some snow here too. So you can see on average, it snows about 7 days in December. It snows about 6 days in January. So you do get some snow out here. Of course, you get some rain to keep everything nice and green. So just a really nice area for someone that wants to be in a moderate temperature place that doesn't get crazy hot. So for our friends that are in Phoenix area, what a great escape to go to. And even over the winter, it's not that bad. Certainly could go back to Phoenix and warm up a little bit if you wanted to. Seligman, as you can see here in the sign, is the birthplace of 66. They have some kind of unique, kind of funny stuff there. We've done some other podcasts about that. This property, what I like about it is it's besides the trees, it's pretty stinking cheap in terms of taxes. We're talking about $46 a year, about $50 a year in taxes, $4 a month. That's nothing. This particular property is 2.44 acres. So it's not a 1 acre. It's not a 5 acre. It's kind of a nice kind of in-betweener size. So that's about 2 football fields. If you imagine having 2 football fields, that's how large this land approximately is. It's in a subdivision called Bridge Canyon Country Estates. This is not an HOA. So there's no HOA dues. There's no crazy building covenants or anything. All right, friends, I got cut off a third time having some technical difficulties today. We're going to try and finish this up here real quick. So I was talking about the zoning for the property. So the manufactured and mobile homes are allowed on this property. There's no minimum square footage. You can camp on this lot. You can stay in an RV or a travel trailer up to 3 times a year with 30 days in between each stay. And you can even have it on there longer term if you are actively building on it or even live in with permission from the developer service director. So it is possible to live full time. You're probably going to have septic. You're probably going to have water source of some sort. But it's definitely possible to do out there, which I know a lot of people tell me they want to be able to live in an RV on a lot. So this is your opportunity to do it. There on this particular lot, there's not a bunch of power poles and stuff going out to this particular one as far as we are aware of. Here are a few original pictures we've taken. You can see it has a little bit of a gentle slope to it, but it's pretty flat, easy to drive around. You could take some ATVs out here and go hang out on the terrain. Roads are pretty well maintained, a few potholes here and there. So just make sure you have a good vehicle to get out this way. You can see those trees and some of the directions we were talking about earlier. And then, of course, we got the pricing. This particular property, at least as of this particular time, we're looking for $7,000 cash, or if you want to do owner financing, it is owner financing price of about $8,000 plus interest with $500 down, and then a minimum of $199 a month. So that's the property. Would love to hear from you. Love to have any other questions you may have about this one. Feel free to give me a call or text. My contact information, of course, is right here on the website, 775-234-2058, or you can email me, contact@genfamproperties.com. Well, my friends, that wraps up the episode for today. Before I have more technical difficulties and get kicked off, thank you so much for joining me and Kristy earlier today in another episode of Land Stories Today. Would love to hear from you and hear about your experiences and what you think about land. Certainly, you can contact me at 775-234-2058. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.